We've got some crazy big releases for you from the world of board and card games this week. You don't want to miss this one. It's November 4th, 2019.
If you missed out on the Aeon's End New Age Kickstarter, well, good news for you, they released the Aeon's End The Ancients. This box just comes with all the promos, not listed Kickstarter exclusive from that Kickstarter campaign, so you can still get a bunch of those goodies added to your game. But we've also got a lot of big games. We're going to start off with Arkham Horror Final Hour. If you don't know what this game is, it's pretty much, if you played any of the Arkham series, you're in that final hour, pretty much everything's going bad. And it's up to you to try to just stop the ritual, whatever you can. So monsters are going to be spawning all over the board. You're going to be running around all over the place. It's much more hectic. City Skylines is a cooperative game when you're working together to build a city. You'll start with 4 tiles, but each person can do their own things like help with sanitation and build different aspects. And you're trying to hit certain milestones. Each time you hit a milestone, you get to buy a new tile and try to build up your happiness. However, if you lose all your money before a milestone, you'll go bankrupt and lose the game. We've got Dune. This is a really big one from Gale Force 9. It's a remake of an old Dune game. It's now out and goes for a lot of players, but we've heard it's really we want those 6 players, and it can be a bit cutthroat. So if you got a big group that likes to stab each other, you may want to look into this one. The God of War card game is now out from Come On Games. This is based on the most recent iteration of God of War, so the more Norse title themed one. You are all working together. You can play as different heroes. You can choose to play as Kratos or not. I mean, you probably do because he's awesome. And you'll go through a bunch of different story scenarios, flipping over cards, and then coming up to a boss, one of the many bosses you do actually fight in the game. We've got Mansions of Madness, Path of the Serpent. This new expansion is really focused about jungle exploring and, from what I can tell, really the elder god Yig with a lot of serpent-related stuff. And you will be either going to a fancy party or maybe going into South America itself to discover what terrors await. We've got the Marvel's Champion, the newest LCG from Fantasy Flight. This is, if you haven't guessed from the name, based on all the Marvel comics. So you've got your Spider-Man, She-Hulk in the base game, with plenty more expansions, of course, on the way, which I think the first 2 are Captain America and Green Goblin. So this is probably going to be a very hot game if all the previous LCGs are anyway signs to take note of. Then Paranormal Detectives. This is from Lucky Duck Games, where one person is the ghost who has just died and trying to get other people at the table to guess how they died.
The Phoenix Syndicate from Asmodee Games is a sci-fi trade route game. Players are trying to get the most credits by expanding their network, making connections, and building the best routes to trade along. This has been in the works for a long time. It was finally successfully kickstarted last year and is now going to be available in a wide release. Quirky Circuits from Plaid Hat Games is a programming game. All players are working together trying to get a robot to complete tasks on a map, but you're playing your cards face down, so players aren't sure what the other person is doing, which leads to some wacky hijinks of the robot running into walls, running off of tables, breaking things. All kinds of crazy things could happen. It's quirky. Silver Bullet is the expansion/standalone for Bezier Games' Silver. This is a werewolf-themed game. Players are trying to keep werewolves out of their villages by having the fewest points among their cards. This adds a bunch of crazy ones, including a gremlin that you can give to people that's worth a lot of points, so it's bad. You can either play it standalone or mix cards together with the original Silver. Tapestry is out in wide release now from Stonemaier Games. I probably don't need to tell you too much about this one, but it's a civilization building game for 1 to 4 players, or 1 to 5 players, and you are choosing a civilization, you are conquering military, science. There's 4 different tracks you can move up in. Sort of a simplified version of a Civ game, but with plenty of depth as well for you. The Taverns of Tiefenthal. This is the new English edition from North Star Games, a new game design from Wolfgang Warsch, and it is a game in which players each have their own tavern, and they're trying to get the most customers to come see them. So it's a dice drafting game and a deck building game. You can either upgrade your tavern or try to get more beer for more people to come. There are different paths that you can take. I've heard really good things about this one. Thunderstone Quest has a new expansion, Barricades Mode. This adds a solo and or co-op mode people can play together to this big deck building game that we were fans of, and it also has more cards. You can play the original version with 5 or 6 players. So that's always nice. Wayfinders from Pandasaurus Games is a game in which players all have their own little airplane and you're trying to explore islands. It's a worker placement game, but how you take your workers back from the places you send them to is important. The order you take them back in will determine when and which resources you gain access to help you explore to further reaches of the board. And then Wordsmith is from Asmodee. This is a new word game. You're looking for words words, trying to make words sort of like Boggle, but the twist here is that rather than letters, you just have pieces of letters. So you might have a curved piece and a straight line, and you're trying to put them together to make words the best you can. A lot of these games we have had the chance to play and even had reviews for. You said, how many did you say?
I think I think 6 if I counted correct. Not only that, there are some on these lists that we have already ordered and we're excited to try out. Doom we're very scared for, but excited because that's a big game. And Gale Force 9 I think is one of our favorites. They usually do very well. I think the Alien game, though that was a prototype, was the first time I felt like disappointed.
Yeah, which by the way still has no news on that front. But yeah, Dune also just in general is one of those games that people have talked about. I mean, it's been out since like the 70s, I think the original version came out, and people say it's classic.
Yeah.
And then Marvel Champions, of course.
Not only that, another friend of mine texted me, he's like, I'm gutting it. I'm like, oh man, now I gotta be like, ask him about, since we gotta play in parallel. He doesn't come to our game nights. It's a friend who lives all the way in Arizona, so bit of a distance.
So yeah, that's really exciting. I'm very interested for us to dig into that.
And the Mansions one is the Path of Serpent. I'm excited to try out and see what that's like. I've actually been playing through some of the Mansion scenarios I've been missing up on, because once I get the Serpent, I'm going to try to get through that quickly, because I know a lot of people liked it when I did a rating list, so I'm going to try to update that list with the 9 scenarios, which include these that I am missing on.
Yeah, some of these other ones that almost I feel like we've talked about them so much already, but like God of War we really liked, Silver we did a review on and like, Tapestry we liked. There's so many. I mean, this week really was crazy. Like almost every game on this list I feel like is like a AAA, like top of the line, big name release. There's so much to dig into. So hopefully it's easy for you guys out there to parse through and figure out what you want. And if you're getting ready like for holiday shopping, start now.
Well, luckily this is the one that we have a bunch of videos for, so you can find out if it's worth buying or not.
Lucky for you. We're here to help. Let us know in the comments section which of these games, if any, you're looking at and why, and what you're looking forward to in the weeks to come as well.
A little bit of extra news. Extra Life just happened. If you don't know what that is a great charity to really help kids in need. And a lot of people, especially gamers like us, will put on these long streams to watch. And you may have seen clips from them, or maybe watch some of them yourself. We did not have one now because we like to push ours so we don't rival. We take all the views, obviously.
That's right, yeah. We want to give them a chance to get some charity.
Our stream will be happening the 16th. You can go check it out then. It'll be starting around 10 a.m. Think of it about as Thanks Gaming. And don't forget to give, of course, whether it's to ours or any others. We appreciate when you give to help these kids out.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned for that because it's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, and until more videos come out even before that, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
This is Roll for Crit.
Never miss out by liking and subscribing, and you can also check out more on our Patreon.
We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Twitch, so follow us there.